The Galactic Academy's Xenobiology lecture hall buzzed with the usual mix of species: crystalline Voltrons refracting light through their translucent bodies, gaseous nebulites contained within their environmental suits, and the standard collection of humanoid variants from across the inner rim. Professor Kelman droned on about atmospheric adaptation rates, his voice barely carrying over the hum of life support systems calibrated for dozens of different physiologies. Marcus Vega slouched in his seat, his enhanced neural implants automatically recording the lecture while his conscious mind wandered. As a third-generation colonial from New Geneva, he'd grown up believing in human superiority, a dangerous mindset that the Academy supposedly trained out of students through exposure to the galaxy's diverse civilizations. 3 rows ahead sat the subject of his growing irritation. Kira Thorne looked deceptively human, but Marcus had done his research. She hailed from Kepler 442c, designated by the Terran Colonial Authority as a Class XII Deathworld. The girl's homeworld boasted gravity 3 times Earth standard, atmospheric pressure that would crush unprotected humans, and predators that made Earth's extinct megafauna look like house pets. What grated on Marcus wasn't her alien origin, it was her academic performance. Despite arriving only a semester ago, Kira consistently outperformed every student in advanced physics, quantum mechanics, and most annoyingly, military strategy. Her presence made his own achievements feel insignificant. The key factor in successful terraforming, Professor Kelman continued, is understanding that evolution doesn't create weakness, it creates specialization. Marcus snorted loud enough for those nearby to hear. Tell that to the Deathworlders who can't even breathe our air without modifications. The comment was meant to be cruel, calculated to remind everyone that Kira required a discrete atmospheric regulator to survive in the Academy's Earth-standard environment. Several students turned to look, including Kira, who met his gaze with those unnervingly steady dark eyes. Something to share, Mr. Vega? Professor Kelman's voice cut through the murmur of student whispers. Just wondering why we're pretending adaptation equals superiority, Marcus replied, emboldened by the attention. Some species are clearly more evolved than others. The professor's expression darkened. Perhaps you'd like to elaborate on your theory of evolutionary hierarchy? Marcus stood, his confidence growing. Take Deathworlders, for instance. They're so dependent on their extreme environments that they can't function in civilized conditions without artificial support. It's biological weakness disguised as strength. The lecture hall fell silent. Even the Nebulite's environmental suits seemed to hum more quietly. Kira rose slowly from her seat, her movements carrying an odd, predatory grace. Biological weakness, she asked, her voice carrying clearly through the hall despite its soft tone. Exactly, Marcus pressed on, misreading her calm demeanor as submission. You literally can't survive without technological assistance in normal conditions. Normal conditions, Kira repeated, taking a step into the aisle. You mean conditions that support soft-world genetics? The insult hung in the air for precisely 2.7 seconds, long enough for Marcus's enhanced reflexes to register movement, but not nearly long enough to process what was happening. Kira crossed the distance between them in a blur of motion that violated several laws of physics as Marcus understood them. Her hand connected with his jaw with the force of a hydraulic press, the impact generating a sound like breaking ceramics that echoed through the acoustically tuned hall. Marcus's consciousness flickered as his body traced a parabolic arc across 3 rows of seats, his neural implants automatically documenting the 4.2 seconds of flight time before he connected with the reinforced wall designed to withstand atmospheric pressure variations. When the medical team arrived, they found 17 distinct fractures in his facial structure, 3 shattered vertebrae, and cognitive systems so scrambled that his memory implants were displaying error messages in languages that didn't exist. Kira had returned to her seat, breathing apparatus functioning normally, taking notes as Professor Kelman resumed his lecture about the dangers of underestimating evolutionary advantages. As I was saying, the professor continued calmly, specialization often appears as weakness until environmental pressures reveal its true purpose. Evolution doesn't create failures, it creates survivors.